What's up, YouTube? NYG-Funk here. Another video. This one, I don't know if you guys checked out the Jason Garrett video I did before. I'm going to put the clips in there from that video, and I'll link that video at the end of this, so you can check that out if you want to. Freddie Kitchens called plays against the Browns, and I just wanted to highlight again some of the flaws that we've had with Jason Garrett and dealing with Daniel Jones this year. Some of the main complaints are way too many routes of, if you look at like even this one, there's so many times where, look at all these routes are breaking at the same depth and at the same time. So if you're the quarterback and all four of these guys are breaking at the same depth and at the same time, you're not even really going to go through progressions. You're not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You're basically picking a side pre-snap and saying, which one do I think is going to beat their guy, and then asking them to deliver the ball. You're not letting him go through progressions. You're basically picking what you want and then going there. And that's not a one-time thing. That's happened all season long. So the theory of it is, okay, yeah, what's the book on Daniel Jones if you're Jason Garrett when you get the job? Oh, a lot of turnovers, a lot of fumbles, picks. He had 24 touchdowns. He had 12 picks in 12 games. The picks really weren't as high as the fumbles, but the fumbles are legit. Like, the turnovers in general are legit. Everybody knew that on him. So conventional wisdom, yes, I get it. Like, get the ball out of his hands quickly. Let's get the ball out of his hands super fast. That way he can't fumble. That way it protects him from turnovers. In theory, yes, that is true. Look, here we go again. These are basically, that's 4 hook routes at the same exact depth. That's so easy to defend. That doesn't let your quarterback go through any reads. Furthermore, all these passes, when you run routes like this, they have to be perfect every time. You can't miss left, right, high, low on these hook routes. And also, guys like Evan Ingram, guys like Sterling Shepard making a living after the catch. Really good threats after the catch. Darius Slayton also, to a lesser extent. On these hook routes, even if he catches that, and that's a success, you're not going anywhere. And that's just a misutilization of your personnel on top of a flawed route design. All in the name of not throwing any picks. The same thing here. What progressions are you really going through? You're not reading left to right. You're not reading high to low. You have a plane where everybody breaks at the same time, and you have to pick right. So in this case, let's just say you're throwing to any of these guys, and they're covered. By the time, if you wanted to go here, that's covered. When you get over here, this guy's not breaking at a different time. He's already in and out of his break, so you can't go here now. This guy's probably the most open, but you would have had to predetermine you were going there, and that's the flaw in this. Then you get to your check down late. So okay, but come on, man, like he threw picks and he fumbled the ball. Okay, well, that's true. All right, so is this safer? Is this safer to have, look, you have 3 receivers at the bottom. They're all breaking at the same exact time. And they're all short of the sticks. And how is that safer? So if the guy that you want isn't open, you have nowhere else to go. So now you're holding the ball, risking further turnovers, all in the name of getting the ball out of your hands. Let's say that the pressure is there and you can't escape the pocket and you can't hold on to the ball. Well, then you just lace one in here. But when everybody's running at the same depth, look at all these guys that if the ball's even a little bit off and it gets tipped, everybody's right around all of the action for tip picks. And that's just another flaw in the design, in my belief. I mean, that's terrible right there, man. That's on the goal line. That's on the goal line on a 3rd down. And your design is to have all 3 of these guys run the exact same route short of the end zone. Like, I'm not with that. Now, the guy that's open is up top. So you throw it there. He's still probably not getting in the end zone. But if you're looking down here and this isn't there first, because these guys all break at the same time. It's not like you're getting up to this guy. It's not like you're getting here next. He's already out of his break. So that's my little rant on the Jason Garrett stuff that we've seen all year. And like I said, it's not an isolated incident. I watched every game. I watched every snap over and over again. It's happened. And, a lot of the stuff you can say, like, yeah, I get it, man. Like, a lot of turnovers. You got to understand there's a lot of turnovers. You see it. Like, I'm showing it, and this is just some of it, man. Like, sorry to keep running them all back, but it just kills me. Look. I mean, it's the same. Get a guy in the flat. You get three slants and a curl. Like, it's all predetermined. It's just ugly to me. It's just ugly to me. There it is again. Everybody the same depth. Everybody at the same depth at the same time breaking. And it's just the one thing that drives me crazy about it is we took this kid number 6 overall. We took him with the 6th overall pick, a top 10 pick at quarterback. And now what we're doing, this is the little rant I went on with in the other video. So this Evan Ingram catches this ball, man. So let's think about this. This is the same exact thing, just opposite. So you have your 3 slants, and then you have your flat, and then you have your hook route. So the flat is obviously threatening, trying to clear this guy out of the way, and then you run a hook underneath. Cool design. So this is considered, that's a successful play. That's everything worked out the way we wanted it to. We got it to our guy. We threw the completion. So what did we gain? We gained 6 yards with absolutely no opportunity for run after the catch with Evan Ingram. And like that's as successful as it gets for Daniel Jones in this offense. That is the win. I can't get down with that. And the one thing I thought Daniel Jones did well last year, if I had to come away and be like, what's Daniel Jones really good at? What does he excel at? Well, I thought what he excelled at was throwing the ball down the field. I thought what he excelled at was hanging in the pocket tough and delivering strikes down the field. Now, I know that resulted in some turnovers. Yes, absolutely. There's no question about that. It did. You'll not hear me argue that. And the goal of this year to me wasn't let's coach all of that out of him and let's coach all the aggression out of him and the downfield accurate throws that he did show and the ability to hang in the pocket and take a shot out of him and just ask him not to turn the ball over. The goal should be keep what he did well and cut down on the turnovers. Because if we're just asking him to throw a bunch of hook routes, take care of the ball, not turn it over, I get that works in some games where it's ugly and it's 13-3 scores, but like how many of those are in the NFL these days? So if you're investing a number 6 overall pick in a man and you're just asking him to do that, don't waste a number 6 overall pick. You can go sign a guy on the street. You can ask Colt McCoy to do that all year. And you can have anybody else at number 6. You could have a beast pass rusher, a safety, a corner, a receiver. You can have an offensive lineman. You don't have to take a guy number 6 overall and then ask him just to take care of the ball. Just don't turn it over. No, like that's not why you take guys at number 6 overall. And the goal of this year should have been to get the most out of that 6 overall pick. Keep what he did well. Keep the aggressiveness. Keep the touchdown passes and the deep shots down the field, the chunk plays that threaten the defense. But then work with him to coach the decision-making of when to get rid of the ball. Coach him up on that to cut down on the turnovers. The goal isn't to eliminate every single turnover. So this is Freddie Kitchens the other night against Cleveland. So this is we're in the red zone here. And this is just different kinds of play calls. Now, they don't work because, we don't finish the plays. It's Colt McCoy. But look at these plays. We're going down the field in the red zone. We're trying to get our guys involved. We're going to Sterling Shepard, letting him use his separation ability to go up and get the ball, which he's done in his career, whether it's with Eli, whether it's last year with Daniel Jones. Here, this was an out and up. You have Ingram up here in the slot. I like an out and up to Evan Ingram. that's awesome. I mean, that's the kind of routes that you should be running. Caden Smith runs the same route here. I don't love that. I think somebody did something wrong here. I doubt that it would look like this, but Evan Ingram on the out and up around the goal line, throw it up to him. That is something that, that's something that makes sense, at least with his skills. Another thing is this one I really loved. I thought that this was an awesome design here. So you're going to get Shep coming in motion and influencing that second level. And what you're going to get is you have two tight ends to the right, Shepard coming on a jet sweep look. So that influences a little bit. That gives the defense something to deal with. That gives them the jet sweep look, influencing their eyes going that way. Then you have two tight ends. You have Caden Smith and you have Evan Ingram at the tight end spot. Then you hit them with a little bit of play action to get their momentum sucked up forward with a jet sweep going that way and a single high safety. So after the play fake, you can see Evan Ingram right here as a bluff block on this middle linebacker. Down at the bottom, you're going to get man-to-man with Darius Slayton, and he's going to run directly to the post. Darius Slayton, play action, post route to the back of the end zone is the perfect way to use Darius Slayton. Now here, if he's open, bang that in there. You might, an elite quarterback might be able to lace that in there, but there is a safety in the middle of the field. Very cool with you not throwing that. But then this is when the design gets really, really, really creative and really good. And it's not even that creative. It's simple. It's Evan Ingram on a bluff block, Darius Slayton running a post. So he clears this area out. Look at how vacated all the spaces at the bottom of the screen towards the back of the end zone, because you have to respect Slayton's speed. He's running the post against man. So now you have Carl Joseph, who after the play fake, he's that weak side linebacker, and he has Wayne Gallman coming out into the flat. But then you have Evan Ingram running the over to the vacated space that was made available because of Darius Slayton, and he's in no man's land. And you see Ingram turn up. He knows, this is a touchdown. And Colt McCoy hits his back foot. He sees it. This is just not a great throw. This is underthrown. Joseph just gets back to bat that down, man. If that's out, if that's thrown up over and you're hitting the NY there, that's a touchdown. But that is the perfect way. Don't play the result. It's Colt McCoy. Don't hate him too much. But that's a third down there. We ended up kicking a field goal. And, that's just a better way to use Evan Ingram and everything that Evan Ingram brings to the team and all of his skills. Give that guy a chance to be an athlete. And you see that play, that isn't any less safe. That isn't any, that's not super risky. That's play action, hit your back foot, make a simple read, and then throw the ball. And even if it is incomplete, like that one was, unfortunately, that's not batted up in the middle of the field where there's a whole bunch, there's layers of defenders. There's just so much. This is a bunch of shallow routes. But let me show you here about how this when you're not breaking all at the same time, how much this helps the quarterback, how much this helps the offense. There's so much been made about the separation numbers. The Giants aren't getting any separation. Well, how much separation are you going to get when you run this route, then down here you're going to run one of these, and here you're going to run one of these? How much separation do you expect these guys to get? Scheme them open. Help them out. So here, I like this because you get a flat route, then you get a corner route at different depths at different times, and then you initially get a shallow, but then you have the first window to throw through, the second window to throw through, the third window to throw through, as opposed to, instead of running a crossing route, if you come up and just run a hook, you're not threatening anything after that. I'm not saying don't ever run hooks, but when you run 4 of them, you're not putting any pressure on the defense, vertically or horizontally or laterally. You're just not putting any pressure on the defense. So you get the shallow here, and then behind that late, you get a late dig route. So then you have layers at different depths. You have your short stuff to the flat. You have your deep stuff to the corner. You have your shallow crosser. And then behind that, you have the late dig route from Evan Ingram. And you'll see how much better this is designed than just running those hook routes and running all that short stuff where you're asking, okay, at the beginning of the snap, which matchup do you like, quarterback? Do you like this guy on this guy? Where do you want to go? Since we're all running hooks, you have to pick a side, so you really only have two options, and then maybe you'll get a late in the flat. That's as basic as it gets. That's as easy as defend as it gets. Another part of this, after you get all of the routes that we just designed here, and the flat, then you get the crosser, and then you get the dig, coming back against the grain, you get the running back looking for anything that anybody's coming, if they're running anything exotic, if they're bringing a blitz. If not, if it's basic and everything looks clean, the line has it, you release late across the formation, and that's a check down. Now, you hear a lot of times in the NFL about young quarterbacks. Got to cut the field in half for the young quarterbacks. Make it easy on them. So what does that mean? Normally it's like a play action where you get the young quarterback out of the pocket off of like a run fake, then you'll bootleg them out. And what they mean by cut the field in half, when you bootleg them out, like this side of the field right here is pretty much negated. And what you'll get is like a deep there, and then like a intermediate, and then you can bring like a guy here. So, and those are all happening at different levels. So the quarterback, after he rolls out, you'll have one, then you'll have two, then you'll have three. And that's the way he reads it. He wants one. Obviously, that's the big, deep chunk play. If that's not there, right after that's there, then you can come back down to two. Then finally, you have the easy check down to three. And then late, after you get all of this action flowing this way from these routes, you might sneak somebody out this in case they fall asleep and just throw that up top. But that's like the conventional wisdom of cut the field in half for the young quarterback. The routes that they run here, it's very similar. If you put yourself in the quarterback's shoes here, okay, so you have basically half the field. You're in the pocket, but you still have the half the field advantage. All of these routes are happening in front of your face. You're not reading hook routes from the left side of the field all the way back to the right side of the field. You're getting layers, and you're getting able to see the windows open up. You're getting layers of people coming open or not coming open, but sticking with them through each window as the routes progress. Now you see here, McCoy is going to opt to go to Slayton on this corner route. And it's not a bad option. It's one-on-one. He's trusting that he can get him turned and then beat him to the outside. But you see, if he hung in there, all he has to do is wait a beat, and Shepard comes wide open right here. And if he delivers that, he also has some yak opportunity. And then if he didn't like that, you have the running back coming across against the grain. If you put that out in front of him, he can run away from these guys. Unfortunately, he decides to try to go to Slayton. It's incomplete. But you see the vast difference in this is how the offensive coordinator helps. He schemes guys open. That's how you look at the outlets. Look at Shepard. This is the third window he's run through. And then look at the check down. Both of those are first downs, bare minimum. Shepard definitely is a first down. McCoy doesn't see it. McCoy doesn't make the right read. He does go to right there. That's kind of open, but that has to be a perfect throw. But regardless, as opposed to the stuff that we just watched earlier when Garrett was calling the plays, there's your separation. There's your separation numbers. That's scheming somebody open. That's the offensive coordinator helping the quarterback, helping the offense, simplifying the reads, keeping everything within the quarterback's vision, cutting the field in half, being creative. I mean, that's how it goes. This is another one. Close your eyes. I'm sorry to even show you this because Darius Slayton lets us down here big time. But we're not playing the results, obviously. We're not playing the results. We are playing the scheme and what the coordinator does. Right here, they're going to bring 5. They put 5 on the line, and every single one of them comes. So they're just going to play man-to-man, off man-to-man. Then they play tight man-to-man down here at the bottom. And this is music to your ears if you're Darius Slayton. in every other circumstance. However, they have a safety to this side because they know that you're going to be up in his face. So everybody else, cushion, cushion, and cushion on Ingram. So that's your man-to-man looks that you're getting. But let's look at how they attack this. Let's look at what they decide to do. So Evan Ingram in the slot there, he's going to again run that over route. And what that's going to do is put the pressure, what Colt McCoy, you see on his drop, Colt McCoy is eyeing down that deep safety. So he's reading this safety. And this over route, you're using his speed against this defender. And if this guy vacates this area and focuses on Slayton, you can throw this out in front of Evan Ingram and trust he can outrun most people. Almost everybody he can outrun if it's just running laterally across the field. That's not what you get. This guy stays. But what's going to happen here is Slayton is going to press to get this corner's hips turned to the sideline as he does. And then he's going to try to beat him across his face and come back underneath, which are using Ingram's speed to get this route open. And it's going to work. Like I said, close your eyes. There's Colt McCoy. You see him in his drop reading. He sees exactly what he wants. And then he trusts the ball's already out. He trusts Darius Slayton's going to make this play and beat that corner across his face. The ball is already out. And it hits him right in the numbers. And once again, there's so much opportunity for Yak with all the speed that boy has. But he just puts it on the ground. That's tough to stomach. But once again, that's a good design. That's a good utilization of everyone's skills. And it schemes somebody open with separation, with Yak opportunity. That's a really good job by Freddie Kitchens to call that. Now, these are in the offense. Like, that's the thing. Freddie Kitchens did not write this playbook on Thursday, starting on Wednesday. Like, these are in the playbook. This is just what he chooses to call. Again, here, Evan Ingram running down the field. So this is kind of the same thing where you're going to choose a side because everybody's just kind of getting vertical. But at least in this situation, you're using the guys. If you're successful, you're getting a big chunk play. You're not just getting 7 yards and then have your receiver fall down. Evan Ingram, forget a hook route. You're not Jason Witten. Win at the top of the route and get vertical. Make a better throw, Colt McCoy. But still, like, that's a big chunk play. Where's that been all year? I mean, that's what this guy is good at. That's exactly what he excels at. And we should have been running this all season long. And whatever we do next year, if it's Garrett again, if it's Kitchens, if it's Joe Blow, we have to just go down the field more. We have to use our playmakers to the best of their abilities and ask our quarterback to do what he does well, which is throw the ball down the field. Later on in that drive, here we come out again. They're playing two safeties high, everybody with big cushions. Now see, this is what we were talking about earlier. So if you want to throw underneath stuff, if you run everybody at the same depth and you throw underneath stuff, then everybody is right at that depth. And the slightest bad throw, a tip at the line of scrimmage, the quarterback gets knocked off his spot, it's a little bit inaccurate, it's a little bit high, it gets tipped, and you have everybody right at the same level, and then you have the defenders, all over the place, and then you have the safeties screaming down on said defenders. And if that's tipped, there's so many people to make a play on those tip balls. That's not what happens here. You get some vertical stuff down the field. You get the outside guys running stop routes. And then you get the running back with an option in the middle of the field. So this is the only guy running a stop here. This guy's running a stop. These two are keeping these safeties high so they're not screaming down as they have been all year when all are running a stop routes. This is later in the game after we had run some vertical stuff, so they had to soften up a little bit. Also, the game script of this point dictates that we're going to be aggressive and try to catch up. But still, you see the effect that it has. Now, McCoy, again, you can nitpick. It's easy to freeze frame quarterbacks and nitpick. Oh, you should have went here with the ball. You should have went here with the ball. Here, maybe you can lace this right in there to Ingram, but whatever. That's fine. You go to Deion Lewis, but look at the room he has. If he puts it out in front, he can get a little bit more yak. But the point is that there's just so much more room to operate for those underneath throws. That one's a little bit behind him. It helps that linebacker make the tackle. You put it out in front, maybe you give him a chance to run away from that one and make something happen. Still, the point being, that's not the point of whether Deion Lewis breaks that tackle or not. It's the design of the offense itself. And when you send people downfield and they're not all breaking at the same depth and they're not all running hook routes and turning around, that's the point. And here we get down near the goal line again. We try to threaten the defense at different levels, and we try to push the ball down the field. This, you get Sterling Shepard, great route runner, our best route runner. And this is, you've seen this before. Normally, you just get this guy in the flat to clear, and then this guy would run something right here and sit. That's what we've seen before. But then you have this guy here. This guy would be on top of him, and then the throw would have to be perfect. And then on this side, normally we would have somebody sit right here and then another one right here, all at the same time. They would all be doing all of those routes at the same time. So even, like I said, if this one's taken away, if you try to come back down to this guy or this guy, they've already come out of their break. So they're just standing there with a defender behind them. And that's just frustrating to watch over and over again. But here, you get Sterling Shepard, create that separation. I mean, the defender's just falling down. Just make a better throw. I mean, it's Colt McCoy, your backup. Doesn't make it any more tolerable or easy to stomach. But, you got what you wanted there. Just make a better throw. Here, another one in that same drive. We're threatening. We're down near. We're just flirting with the red area. And what do? Do we run a bunch of in-breaking stuff? Do we run a bunch of hooks? No, we threaten the end zone. We get vertical. Look, there you go. Golden Tate down here at the bottom has a step. Threaten that one high safety that we've been getting all year. Throw it up to him. Another underthrow. But still, that is something that we should have been running with Daniel Jones consistently. Again, float that one up over top, put that to the back of the end zone. That's a touchdown. The design of the offense was better. The play calling itself was better. Just to complete the whole rant. This is Daniel Jones last year. So this is, if you're Jason Garrett coming in, everybody knows about the turnovers. But what can the guy do well? What did the guy do well? These are some of his best throws. The probably the best part of his game was this kid was not afraid to push the ball down the field accurately. And he was willing to hang in the pocket and take some hits. Now, yeah, he hung in the pocket too long a lot, and he was indecisive, and he panicked, and that led to him holding onto the ball too long with bad pocket presence, and that led to a lot of fumbles. But at the same time, that's your job, is to keep this stuff and to get him to process and see this stuff better while cutting down on the turnovers. Anybody can go in there and not turn the ball over if they never throw the ball down the field, if they never hang in the pocket, if they just throw hook routes. You can draft a guy in the 7th round. You can draft a guy in the 6th round, not 6th overall. But keep this. That's Xavier Rhodes. That's outside shoulder dime. And we've seen that a couple times this year. And when we have given Daniel Jones the option to go down the field in 2020, this season with Jason Garrett, he's literally the best at it in the league. He's the most efficient downfield thrower in the NFL. We don't do it enough, but I'm not making that up. That's true. And these are the same receivers. These are the same exact receivers as last year. This is a single high look that we've been getting all year. These guys are crowding the line of scrimmage. And you go back and you watch the tape from last year, and he wasn't this RPO, run a slant route, run a hook route, throw to the flat, throw a quick out to the tight end. Drew Brees kind of quarterback. This is what he was. He was a gunslinger. He threw the ball down the field, and he gave our guys a chance to make plays. The same exact guys we have now. It's not like we lost this 2 or 3 speedsters. No, Golden Tate's still on the team. Darius Slayton's still on the team. Like, you tell me. That's what he did the best. These are probably his best throws of last year. I mean, scooting around in the pocket, stepping up, motion at the snap, multiple guys running down the field, dime. Like, that's my rant, man. I'm over. I know I'm preaching to the choir with a lot of the Giants fans. I know that Jason Garrett's a hot topic, and I'm not just trying to completely just use that as the excuse for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has a lot of warts of his own, but I just feel like it's a disservice to him to coach the one thing that he does well out of him and ask him just to take care of the ball. Like, just go in there and don't turn the ball over. Like, sometimes you got to win 20-10. How often the time does that happen in the NFL these days? Got to put points on the board. We don't have to light the scoreboard up every single game. We have a power running team. We have really good defense. We play in a bad weather environment. I get it. We don't need to average 30 points. But we can't be 30th in the league in offense. And that's literally where we're at. So I was excited to see Freddie Kitchens bring some different stuff just to see that we have it in the system. And whatever we do going forward, the next 2 games this year, and 99% sure Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback next year. Whether you like that or not, it's just 99% sure that that's going to happen. If it's Jason Garrett, if it's Freddie Kitchens, if it's some guy that we don't know yet, we got to get back to throwing the ball down the field. Whether we bring in the weapon that everyone says that we need or not, and we definitely do. We need weapons. We need better weapons. But that's not the excuse. Like, that's not the main problem. The main problem is they're not letting Daniel Jones throw the ball down the field, and that's literally probably the thing that he does best. And they're doing it, and they're basically coaching this kid to be scared. And they're coaching out of him the thing that he does best, and you can ruin a quarterback doing that. And I think that Daniel Jones is tough, and I think that he'll work through it, but they have to open it up. Just for the sake of, dude, you invested a top 10 pick in this guy. See what you got. See what you got. You don't buy, the most. This is a terrible analogy, just the first one that comes. Like, you don't go buy this super fast car that costs $80,000, $100,000 and never drive fast. Like, you don't buy the super fast car and then just safely drive to the grocery store in it. Why did you invest that much money in this super fast car if you're never going to go push it to the limit? Now, if you don't want to live like that, then don't invest like that. If you don't want to take that risk because you're scared of getting in a car accident, don't buy the $80,000 car. Take a guy 6th round and ask him just to take care of the ball. I'm exaggerating with the 6th round, but you take a top 10 quarterback, top 10 overall, this is not what you ask him to do. It doesn't matter year 1, year 2, it doesn't matter what his first year looked like. You don't just coach him to just take care of the ball when you invested that highly in him. Even if he fails completely again, at least you have your answers that he can't do it. Man, he can't throw the 20, 24, 25 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns, and take care of the ball. At least you have that answer, and you pushed him to the limit, and you threw the kitchen sink at him. But this, you're really getting no answers. You're just saying, hey, look, boss, we cut these fumbles in half. We didn't throw as many picks. Great, cool. You didn't throw as many picks. Well, go turn on the film. Of course you didn't. You just threw it into the ground every play. You just got rid of the ball, of course. And no wonder he didn't fumble. But he has 8 touchdowns. And it's hard to put that on him when we saw him throw 24 a year ago under a different offense with the same exact personnel. So my rant's over, man. Like, we still have the Ravens. Hopefully Daniel Jones plays and we open it up for him the same way we did against the Browns. Tall task, but the stage is set. Go win one game at a time. Be all in this week in practice. Be all in film study. Try to get this W and then see where it goes from there. The scoreboard watching, I know everybody knows the scenarios, but it's not even as, I cannot reiterate enough, it's not even about that. It's not even about win the division and get into the playoffs and all of that. This year has always been about evaluate, improve. And it's just a blessing that the division played out the way it did, because now we have urgency to all these games. And that's a beautiful thing. They're all meaningful. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we're in the second year with the 6th overall pick. No matter what offense we've run to this point, this is a playoff game. You want some playoff experience, this is a playoff game. And it's win or go home. That's you don't automatically get that every year in December. So that's a blessing in disguise to me. It brings so much urgency to the game plan. It brings so much urgency to the meetings throughout the week, the pregame and the actual game. Like, it just makes everything high stakes. And that's really, really good for a young quarterback. That's really, really good for a young team. When you see where you're at and then you work on it, you improve, which is always what it was about this year. But I just had to get this off my chest. I had to show you guys what I saw the other night. I'm not saying hire Freddie Kitchens, sign him up for 10 years. He's the answer. But when you compare it to the very big sample size that we have before Freddie Kitchens was calling plays to the very small sample size that we have of when he did call plays, there are some very noticeable differences. And there's some positive traits out of what Freddie Kitchens did. And I just wanted to put them on the screen for you guys to enjoy. All right, man. Well, have a good one. Go Giants. Beat the Ravens. I'll be checking in with you guys later, trying to come up with some cool other stuff that we can chop up together. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, whatever. But mostly, go Giants.